I now call upon Ms. Ana Corina Sosa Machado, the daughter of the Nobel Peace Prize laureate for 2025, to step forward to receive the diploma and the gold medal on behalf of her mother, Ms. Maria Corina Machado.
And she steps forward to receive the award on behalf of her mother, who's unable to be with us in Oslo today.
My generation was born in a vibrant democracy, and we took it for granted. We assumed freedom was as permanent as the air we breathed. We cherished our rights, but we forgot our duties. I was raised by a father whose life's work, building, creating, serving, taught me that loving a country meant assuming responsibility for its future. By the time we recognized how fragile our institutions had become, a man who had once led a military coup to overthrow democracy was elected president. Many thought charisma could substitute the rule of law. From 1991 onward, the regime dismantled our democracy, violating the Constitution, falsifying our history, corrupting the military, purging independent judges, censoring the press, manipulating elections, persecuting dissent, and ravaging our extraordinary biodiversity.
This is my video update on this Wednesday afternoon, December the 10th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with an update on the conflict between Thailand and Cambodia. The conflict that restarted a couple of days ago and continues to escalate. Thailand blames Cambodia. Cambodia yesterday issued a statement blaming Thailand for violating Trump's ceasefire that he brokered 2 months ago. And the US president, during a rally in Pennsylvania, said that he will make a call to end the hostilities between the two countries. So Trump is going to call Thailand, he's going to call Cambodia, and he's going to tell them to get back to the ceasefire, or else he is going to place big tariffs on both of them. And if they agree to go back to the ceasefire, then Trump is going to offer them some sort of preferential trade agreements or something like that. But none of this addresses the root causes of the dispute. And so they will probably agree to go back to the ceasefire, but in a couple of months, the ceasefire will be violated again. Why the Trump administration has decided to be the mediator in this conflict, who knows? Who knows why they have chosen to mediate between Thailand and Cambodia, but Trump needs to stack up the conflict resolution wins, right? If he is ever going to get that Nobel Peace Prize, which evades him, he just can't get that Nobel Peace Prize. He needs to stack up those conflict resolution wins. And the last thing that he can have happen is one of those 8 conflict resolutions that he brokered, for one of those resolutions to fall apart. That's not going to help him in his quest for the Nobel Peace Prize. He has already won the very prestigious FIFA Peace Prize award, but it's not the Nobel Peace Prize. That's the one that he really wants. So that's the update there in Ukraine, the conflict in Ukraine. I talked a bit about what's going on in Siversk in my video update yesterday, and I talked about how the Russian military is advancing in Siversk. After I finished my video update, we started to get reports that the Russian military is not only advancing quickly in Siversk, but it looks like they've pretty much captured Siversk. Maybe not all of Siversk, but a good portion of Siversk has now been captured by the Russian military. This is even being admitted by Ukrainian mapping channels. So within the next couple of days, at most within the next couple of weeks, we will get the news that Russia has captured the very well fortified, very important region of Siversk. And within the next couple of days or within the next couple of weeks, we are going to get reports from the collective West media, from the Ukraine military, and from the Zelensky regime that Siversk was really not that important. Russia took a really long time to capture Siversk, and it came at a huge cost to Putin. So we know how this routine goes. But Russia is going to capture Siversk, and they're going to capture Siversk as the Green Goblin is not even in Ukraine. Zelensky is on another European tour. This is probably his 20th or 30th European tour this year, but the Ukraine military continues to suffer defeat after defeat, losing territory. And the leader of Ukraine, the unelected leader of Ukraine, he is traveling Europe once again. He met, yesterday he met with Georgia Meloni, and I will get into that a little bit later. But Trump, he talked about how the Ukraine military is losing and losing big in an interview he gave to Politico. An interview he gave to Politico's journalist Dasha Burns, who hosts the show The Conversation. The Conversation with Dasha Burns. An amazing show, amazing name, almost as good as Piers Morgan, Uncensored. The Conversation with Dasha Burns. So Trump was interviewed by Dasha, who is of Ukrainian descent. So she was very, very fair and objective and impartial as she was interviewing Trump, asking him about negotiations with Russia, asking him about support for Project Ukraine. And Trump urged Zelensky to accept the 28-point peace plan. He said that Russia has the upper hand in the conflict. He basically acknowledged that the Russian military is winning and Ukraine is losing, and they are losing territory, and he is urging the Green Goblin to accept his 28-point peace plan. He said again that Zelensky has not read the peace plan. He said that Zelensky's administration, his team loves it. They love it. They love it a lot. But he complained that Zelensky has not read the thing. How does he know that Zelensky has not read the peace plan? Anyway, he says that Zelensky has not read the peace plan. His officials have read it, and they love it. It's the best peace plan Zelensky's team has ever read. But Zelensky, he's not so interested in reading it. So he better read it, Trump said. You better read the peace plan, and you better accept it, because you are losing, and you're losing big, and you are losing fast. He also urged Zelensky to hold elections. He said that Zelensky has to hold elections. because he hasn't had elections in a long time, Trump said. And that's not very democratic. He said it's not very democratic to be a dictator. It's not very democratic to cancel elections and to imprison the opposition and other political parties, to cancel other political parties, to put in prison the opposition. That's not very democratic, according to President Trump. So Zelensky needs to hold elections, and Trump said, look, I don't know, maybe he'll win. Trump said, maybe he'll win. I don't know, but he's got to hold elections. So he said that as well. And the best part of the interview was when Trump was asked about the EU and European leaders. And that is where Trump said that EU leaders are weak. They are weak people leading a decaying Europe. They're not producing, Trump said. We're talking about Ukraine. They talk, but they don't produce. And the war just keeps going on and on. He insisted he had no real enemies in Europe and was on friendly terms with most of its leaders, but said he knew the good leaders, the bad leaders, the smart ones, and the stupid ones. You got some real stupid ones too, Trump said. No, you don't. Come on, Trump. Come on. There are no stupid ones. They're all geniuses. They're all very competent, very stunning, very, very brave, and very smart. There are no stupid ones in Europe. Trump, come on. Be nice. Be nice. So yeah, that's what he said about the European leaders. You're worthless and weak. All they do is talk, talk, talk. Talk about Ukraine. They talk, but no action. So that upset a lot of people in Europe, a lot of people in the UK. Very, very upset with Trump's statements about Europe. Keir Starmer's administration was very upset, very angry. Keir Starmer, his administration. The UK rejects Trump's claim that European leaders talk too much about Ukraine. PM Keir Starmer's spokesperson said Britain was leading the response on sanctions against Russia, but confirmed support for American-led peace plans. 008 did not like Trump's categorization of European leaders and how European leaders are not producing. So he upset 008. Keir Starmer's spokesperson talked about the excellent relationship that Keir Starmer has with President Trump, and he talked up how the UK is leading in the sanctions war against Russia, and how the Keir Starmer administration supports Trump's peace plan. A just and lasting ceasefire, as Keir Starmer called it yesterday. A just and lasting ceasefire, not a just and lasting peace. A just and lasting ceasefire from 008 Keir Starmer, who hosted Zelensky in London just the other day. The EU is fuming over Trump's comments. They are very, very angry. Show some respect. EU chief warns Trump after blistering attack on Europe. The US president thinks the continent is run by weaklings, but millions of Europeans beg to differ, top officials say. And the top of the top official who is taking issue with Trump's statements to Politico is none other than Costa. Not Ursula, not stunning and brave, Costa. He has decided to take the fight to Trump. Costa being the president of the European Council, right? Does anyone know who Costa is and what he does? I don't know. Who is this Costa guy? Who is this Costa guy? Yeah, he's the guy that's in charge of the European Council. He took over for Michel. Remember that guy? Michel? Yeah, Costa is his successor, his replacement. So Costa, he is firing back at Trump. How dare you call us weaklings, U.S. President Trump? I demand respect. I demand respect. I'm smart, Mikey. I'm smart. I'm smart, Mikey. Fredo, go do this. Fredo, go do that. Yeah. Costa. They chose Costa. Out of all the people to confront Trump, they chose Costa. He hasn't said anything in 6 months, and all of a sudden he decides to speak. So what is Costa saying? What is Costa saying? And I quote, "We respect the choice of Americans, and they need to respect the democratic choices of our citizens," he added during a press conference in Ireland, "when all the leaders elect me President of the European Council. President Trump must respect this, as we respect the American citizens elected him President of the United States. It is like this that allies behave with each other." Here you get some insight into what the word democracy means to the European elite. Democracy for them is the leaders of the EU member states. They're buddies, they're pals, holding elections, right? 10, 15, 20 people, 27 people sitting in a room and voting for the person that's going to head up the European Council. That's democracy to the globalist elite. That's what democracy means. So yeah, that's what Costa said. The leaders of the EU member states, we got together in a room and they voted me to represent, to lead the European Council. That's democracy in action. 27 people voting, democracy in action. And as we respect the American people voting for Trump to be president, Trump needs to respect European democracy, European democracy in action, where bureaucrats decide who runs the institutions in Brussels. Lavrov, he was giving a speech, I believe this morning, his annual speech, either this morning or yesterday afternoon, to Russian senators, the Federation Council. It's his annual speech to the Federation Council. And Lavrov, he praised Trump. He's giving an update on the foreign ministry and foreign policy for the year. And of course, he talked about Project Ukraine. Of course, he talked about the U.S.-Russia negotiations. And he praised Trump as being the only leader, or one of the only leaders, in the collective West who actually is trying to get to some sort of a peace settlement in the conflict in Ukraine, and as one of the only leaders in the collective West who actually is addressing Russia's interests and the root causes of the conflict. So Lavrov said that in his speech. We appreciate Trump's efforts on Ukraine. There is an agreement to continue these efforts after the visit to Moscow of U.S. Special Envoy Witkoff. So he praised Trump, but he also said during his speech that Biden placed sanctions on Russia, and the Trump administration is not removing sanctions against Russia. They're actually doing the opposite. They are placing more sanctions on Russia and escalating the sanctions economic war against Russia. So Lavrov also said that as well. He also talked about how the Europeans and the UK, they are trying to sabotage the talks between the United States and Russia. So Politico, going back to Politico, they put out their list of the 28, is it 28? 28 most influential people in Europe. The list of 28. The class of 2026. The 28 most influential people according to Politico. And guess who tops that list? Guess who is top of the list? Take a guess, a wild guess. The most influential person in Europe. Ranking the most influential people in Europe. Class of 2026. Number one on the list of 28 is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the most influential person in Europe. Number two is Mette Frederiksen. Interesting choice. BlackRock Mertz is number three. And Marine Le Pen is number four. And number five is Vladimir Putin. Trump is number one. They say Trump is the transatlantic shockwave. That is what Politico calls him. Frederiksen is the North Star. She's a star. You're such a star, Frederiksen. Such a star. Your husband working on the documentary of Zelensky. You're a star. BlackRock Mertz is the reluctant radical. The reluctant radical. The reluctant rascal. At first I thought it said rascal. The reluctant rascal. BlackRock Mertz, you rascal. You're such a rascal. No, you're a radical. Mertz is a radical. He's not a radical, that's for sure. And Marine Le Pen is the war horse. The war horse. What do they say about Putin? What do you think they say about Putin? The provocateur. This should be my clown world. Nigel Farage is number 6. He's the shadow leader. Is that any connection to the Shadow Fleet? Is the Shadow leader in charge of the Shadow Fleet? Number 7 is von der Leyen. She's the Iron Hand. The Iron Claw. The Iron Claw, the Von Erichs. She's the Iron Hand. Von der Leyen. The Tatter's Hand. Mark Rutte. The Sweet Talker. Stop, Politico, stop. You're killing me. You're killing me, Politico. Pinocchio Rutte is the sweet talker. Daddy Trump. I'll do the top 10. Number 9 is Meloni, who's the role model. And number 10 is Keir Starmer. He's the gray man. At first I thought it said something else. I can't take it. Enough. People are going to get angry at me. They're going to say, all I do is laugh. All you do is laugh, Alex. You're such a clown. Get serious. All right, I'll get serious. It's a very serious list. And the list is making a point. It's making the point that you have an American president who exerts influence over Europe. That's the point that the list is trying to make. And it's unacceptable that you have the president of the United States as the most influential man in Europe. A president who doesn't even like Europe. I think the article even says as much. The article says that you have Trump as the most influential person in Europe, and he doesn't even like Europe. Oh boy. What are you going to do? I'll tell you what you do. Times like these call for extreme measures, for extreme actions. This is when you call in stunning and brave Kaja Kallas. I think she's on the list, but she's further down. But the stunning and brave is what's needed. And stunning and brave is what we got. Kaja Kallas gave a speech yesterday, and she really blasted Elon Musk. She really went after Elon Musk. Stunning and brave. She talked about how the United States, the Trump administration, and Musk should stop talking bad about the EU. Kallas noted that the EU is the place for freedom and democracy. A lot of democracy going on in the European Union. A lot of free speech going on in the European Union. Forget about banning Russian media on March 1st, 2022. Forget about closing off airspace to commercial flights in March of 2022. Forget about all of that. The EU is a beacon of democracy and free speech, freedom. TikTok meddling of elections in Romania, where the European Union decided to force Romania into a do-over of their elections. Forget about all of that. Forget about all that. I like it. I don't like it. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to share this video, please do so. And if you subscribe to this channel, that would help me out a whole lot. Stunning and brave. She then told the United States, she told Elon Musk that the country that they should have an issue with, take a wild guess what country they should have an issue with. They shouldn't be blasting the EU. They shouldn't be criticizing the EU. Just take a wild guess what country Kallas is telling Musk and the Trump administration to criticize and to go after. You'll never figure it out. You'll never in a million years figure it out. All right, look, I'll just tell you, because I know you're not going to figure it out. Kallas said that Musk and the United States, they need to criticize Russia and to go after Russia. I never expected that from Kallas, never in a million years, but that's what she said. I imagine that this statement probably has the Kremlin just scratching their heads. What did we ever do to her? Why is she upset with us? Why is she telling Musk and the Trump administration to criticize us and to go after us? Why, Kaya? Why? We used to be friends. So yeah, that was Kallas's his response to Musk and to the Trump administration. She said that the EU is the essence of freedom. It's the essence of freedom.
The European Union is the very essence of freedom. So any such criticism regarding the liberties here should be aimed at different direction. Russia, perhaps, where dissent is banned, where free media is banned, where political opposition is banned, where X or Twitter, as we know it, is in fact also banned. So the European Union, 27 countries who have voluntarily chosen to work together, and we have several others who want to join. That shows the quality of us.
Kallas, number 5, the essence of freedom, or Kallas, number 6, Udakaya, the essence of freedom. Oh boy. So anyway, that's Kallas. I talked about Zelensky and Meloni. I really feel for Meloni. I really feel for Georgia Meloni and all of this EU fight with Elon Musk. Poor Meloni, she's caught in the middle. So she met with the Green Goblin yesterday, a very good meeting, very constructive meeting, according to both the leaders. Meloni all smiles, laughing it up with Zelensky. But you just got to imagine that this row between the European Union and X, between the European Union and Elon Musk, is tearing Meloni apart. Tearing her apart. Because she's very fond of Musk. She likes Elon Musk very much. But she's also very loyal to the European Union, to NATO, and to Ursula. So this argument, this fight between the two is probably keeping Meloni up at night. So the Green Goblin, he responded to Trump's interview with Dasha Burns from the show, The Conversation. He responded to it right away. And he said, Mr. Trump, if you want elections, I do elections. Do elections. 60, 90 days, we have elections. Right, Podolyak? Right. We have elections, Mr. Trump. But Zelensky is saying that what is needed to hold elections is U.S. security guarantees. So if the U.S. and Europe, but mostly the U.S., if the U.S. decides to provide security and provide security guarantees, then he's going to hold elections. That was his statement to Trump. He also said that, Zelensky said that there is no chance of Ukraine joining NATO yet. That is what he said, yet. Ukraine will not join NATO yet. Neither the U.S. nor several other countries see Ukraine in the alliance yet. Yet. So they want the ceasefire, they want the freeze. And sure, they will agree to no Ukraine in NATO yet, but eventually the plan is to put Ukraine into NATO. The Washington Post is reporting about the plan that the United States is putting together, that the Europeans and Ukraine is putting together. The 28-point peace plan, the amended Ukraine-European plan that they're going to send to the United States. The Washington Post is reporting that most likely what is going to be proposed is a Korea model. That's a quote from the WAPO, a Korean model. One of the ways to do this is the Korean model. To this day, South Korea claims the legal right to the entire peninsula, and North Korea asserts the same, notes the publication. Alexander called this. He called this. He said, we're just going to go right back to the Kellogg freeze. Everything that's been going on over the past couple of months has taken us right back to the Kellogg freeze, the German model, the Korean model, whatever you want to call it. Models that were proposed back in the days of Bidenopolis, Greece's favorite son. Oh, where are you, Bidenopolis? Where are you? Greece's favorite son. Yeah, a freeze. That's where we're going. Jake Sullivan talked about a Korea, Germany model. And now it looks like that is where all of this diplomacy, if you want to call it that, is taking us towards. The freeze, the Kellogg freeze, the Jake Sullivan freeze, the Biden freeze. Korea, Germany, of which Russia will say, no thank you. We're back here again. We're back to a freeze. Oh boy. So let's talk about some other stuff, and then we'll get to a clown world. Big day in Australia. I believe today we have the ban of social media for children under 16 years old, right? 16 years old, you got a social media ban. And my understanding of things is that this is not very, very clear as to how everything is going to work. This was very, very rushed, it seems, and not very well thought out. But basically, the big social media companies, they could get fined a lot of money. I read somewhere $30 million or something like that. Big amounts of money. If they do not enforce this social media ban for people under 16 years old. This covers X, Facebook, Meta, YouTube, all of it, TikTok, Snapchat. And some of the big tech companies said that they're going to comply with this new legislation, but they're also wondering how do we enforce this, because the document says that there's going to be some sort of selfie submitted, some sort of questions or documentation that they're going to have to submit. browsing habits that they're going to look at, their browsing data, and that's going to indicate if they're 16 years or younger. I'm not sure how all of this is going to be enforced. I don't think anyone really knows how all of this is going to be enforced, but it prepares the way for a general enforcement of the internet. That's what this does. It prepares the way for a general enforcement of the World Wide Web, of the internet. And you start with the protecting of children under 16 years old, right? Who's going to argue with that? Who's going to argue that you have to protect the children? But after the children will be everyone else, and after social media will be all of the internet and misinformation and fake news. We're going to have to monitor fake news and protect people from fake news, and you're going to need a digital ID to eventually log into your ISP, and we know the routine. So anyway, Australia is getting the ball rolling on this one. In the United States, there are reports that, and this has not been adopted, it's under consideration. The Customs and Border Protection, the CBP, is looking to apply a social media check to travelers and tourists who want to enter the United States. Even if you have the electronic visa, you are going to have to possibly you're going to have to submit further information before you travel to the U.S. This further information includes email, phone numbers, stuff like that, and 5 years of your social media account and 5 years of your social media activity will be researched, monitored, in order to see if you pose any type of threat before you travel, even for tourist reasons, to the United States. U.S. plans to start checking all tourists' social media. The potential social media mandate being proposed by Customs and Border Protection would apply to anyone visiting, whether they require a visa or not. Yeah, you have a lot of countries that have the electronic visa. We don't have it in Cyprus, but it's a visa that you apply. You apply for this visa, then you don't need to get a visa every time you want to travel to the United States, and then everything is done electronically. I think it's called the visa exemption process or something like that. I forgot, but we don't have it in Cyprus. So anyway, it doesn't matter if you have this visa, electronic visa, or this visa exemption. If you're in the UK, you can go through this process, and whatever you have, if you're looking to travel to the United States, then you're going to also have to submit your social media accounts. And I imagine using AI, they're going to go through your social media over the past 5 years, and of course, they're going to tell the AI to search for certain keywords, and then they're going to decide if you're going to be allowed to enter the United States. This is the way the world is moving. Better get your traveling done within the next year or two. Get all of your traveling in there within the next year or two, because I have a feeling that it's going to be very difficult to travel to certain countries in the next couple of years. Unless, of course, you're willing to just give up all of your social media data and provide your emails and your passwords, and pretty soon your mobile data, everything. If you're ready to provide everything, then you'll probably be able to enter certain countries or certain regions. But traveling is going to become very difficult. So let's do some clown worlds, and we can wrap up this video. From The Guardian, Putin should have accepted Trump's deal. Now Russia's collapsing economy could lead to his downfall. This article was published not 3 years ago. This article was published 3 days ago, Sunday, the 7th of December, 2025. Any day now, Russian economy in tatters. Any day now. 50 years from now, The Guardian is going to be running articles talking about how the Russian economy is about to fall. Mark my words. So Trump, during his speech, I believe this was in his speech in Pennsylvania, he talked about how Carolyn Levitt has machine gun lips. Is that correct? That beautiful face, those lips that don't stop, up, 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 like a little machine gun. She's not afraid of anything. You know why? Because we have the right policies.
When she gets up there with that beautiful face and those lips that don't stop, up, 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 like a little machine gun, she's got no fear. You know why she has no fear? Because we have the right policy.
Okay, interesting. Very descriptive choice of words for Carolyn Levitt. And finally, we'll do one more quick clown world. Lithuania is declaring a national emergency over the surge in balloons, smugglers' balloons. Drones and balloons, actually. Hundreds of balloons, drones that are entering Lithuania allegedly through Belarus, and they're carrying contraband, cigarettes and stuff like that. This is a big problem for Lithuania. Hundreds of balloons. I haven't seen any photos of any balloons. Maybe there are photos of hundreds of balloons in Lithuania that are online. I haven't seen any of these photos of these balloons. I'm not even sure what kind of balloons are we talking about. Are we talking about like birthday balloons, or are we talking about like big balloons? I don't know. But Belarus allegedly is sending a bunch of balloons into Lithuania, and they're carrying cigarettes and all kinds of other stuff, and they're disrupting air travel, airports, and of course they're bringing in contraband products. And now Lithuania is declaring a state of emergency to stop the balloons. Even the military is being called in to fire at those balloons, fire at all of those balloons. So anyway, yeah, that's the situation in Lithuania. Very difficult, very dangerous situation. Attack of the balloons. That is the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We're on X. We are on Rumble and Telegram. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch. And the link is in the description box down below. And I will see everyone tomorrow. Take care.